Where I come from, people don't look out for the little guy. They walk over them, ignore them. If you ask me, that's how kings fall.
Wow. Really says a lot about society, eh? I've been playing Highguard, and let me tell you, it's a game. Yep. Venture to the land of,
Moving in for the attack.
oh, Highguard. Yeah, of course. Play as a warden, a magical gunslinger in a 3v3 base attack, defense, siege, horse, movement shooter. Okay, like, when you say it like that, it sounds kind of dope, right? So then why has the Steam reviews page become one of the most hostile places on the internet? It's probably to do with the fact that Highguard came out of nowhere, took the hottest spot at the Game Awards, the trailer slot that normally is reserved for some of gaming's biggest mic drop announcement moments, and played this
your first
trailer.
Look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
I venture without fear.
That hurt.
We saw left so many unanswered questions, like who are these generic hero shooter characters? How does the game actually work? And why is that guy turning into Bigfoot? And why should I care? Needless to say, people were surprised. They were confused, scared, alone. Didn't know what to do. Oh, just sounds like a normal Tuesday night. Alright. And if it wasn't for the fact that this is a brand new studio, full of developers from games like Apex Legends, Titanfall, and Call of Duty, interest in the game probably would have just died then and there. There was then a dead zone of communications where there were no comms, no marketing, which the team probably thought would generate hype and mystery. But I think it just frustrated people.
You shouldn't use my name.
Dodson! Dodson! We've got Dodson here! See, nobody cares.
Now, before we go any further, I gotta do this, alright? I'm a small channel. Just please, if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, I mean, still like it. Nah, you can dislike it if you want, or give me a bit of feedback in the comments. The support you guys give me is great, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow with you. Yes, you. I love you. Alright. Look, I'm gonna start this off by saying I don't think Highguard's bad. Okay, this video isn't gonna be ripping it to shreds. I don't think it deserves the vitriol it's receiving on the Steam reviews. I mean, like, come on, man. But it's also not good. Yeah? Highguard just is. Like, people keep comparing it to Concord, yeah, which I don't think is fair, because unlike that ill-fated masterpiece, Highguard has a very clear vision. Yeah, it was developed by a team that wanted to do something different and break the hero shooter mold. They just didn't quite stick the landing. On paper, the gameplay loop, it sounds super interesting. Each game starts with you choosing from a roster of wardens that all look like they could have walked out of any of the hero shooters from the last 10 years. Originality is not their strong point. You then choose a base, and this is where it starts getting a little bit interesting. This is going to house the objectives you need to defend, while you are out trying to destroy the enemy's objectives. And these bases vary in style and defenses. So one might have like sniper towers that you can sit up with a rifle and snipe enemies as they ride it on their horses and bears. Or another might feel like a bit of a labyrinth for your enemy to work through as they try and get to the objectives. Sounds intriguing so far, right? Next, you spawn. And then you enter a phase which kind of feels like rip-off fantasy Rainbow Six Siege, where you reinforce walls, but there's like no real animation, and ultimately it feels like the reinforcements to the walls make very little difference to your enemy's assault. Like, they don't take a lot to destroy. So the base opens up and you jump on your horse and you have free reign. Get it? Reign. To go out into the world and try and find weapons, armor, and resources, which you can then use in the shop to buy weapons and armor. What's cool is the enemy is also out there gathering resources, so in this state, you're on the same map as them, but your priority isn't fighting, which means you might stumble against each other and you might engage if there's some particularly rich resources, or you might just, mutually agree to turn tail and go search somewhere else. But this is where the vision kind of starts to falter. Like the maps are big, which normally would be great, but there's only 6 people on it, 3v3, right? So engagements with the other team are pretty few and far between. When your teammate on the other side of the map needs help, the chance of you getting there in time is very low. And when you die, you spawn back at your base and you have to run all the way back out. It can be a bit tiresome. Then when that phase is over, an objective spawns which you need to get and take to the enemy base, plant it to take down their shields. And summons this beastie looking battering ram, which, you know what? Kind of reminds me of something.
Grunt, 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 grunt.
But again, even in this intense phase where you're trying to run to their base, because there's only 3 of them, if you get into an engagement that lasts like 30 seconds, and then they spawn all the way back at their base, so they might only get 1 chance to stop you. And again, it just because the map feels too big for the amount of players on it. The action occurs in the staccato fashion, where there's an engagement, a lull, and then maybe another engagement, but they never really feel balanced or consequential. And don't get me wrong, I'm not here saying that I'm smarter and no better than the developer. I'm sure there was plenty of playtesting that went into the decision to finalize 3v3. But it just doesn't really work. Like, if there were foundational changes that needed to be made to take it to 5v5 or 6v6, the game would have benefited so much from that increased player count. Now, in saying this, there is a lot that this game does really well. Like, the movement feels really nice, which of course it does. I mean, when you look at the developers' CVs, like there's sprinting, obviously vaulting, this weird like Scrabble up the wall thing, which, nice work, buddy. Oh. The animations are really smooth and satisfying. Like, my favorite is the revive animation where your mate is like on his way down the tunnel of light to eternal peace and you just like get your hand in there, rip him out, bring him back to hell. Oh, so good. Or this one where you plant the shield breaker at the enemy base and summon the aforementioned gigantic badass siege engine. And the map traversal is fun with horses and zip lines and the movement tech. It does feel fun to move around. Overall, the game feels like it's built with quality. Yeah? So why does it just feel off? Well, I've already talked at length about the player count being an issue, making the maps feel empty and just like a bit like a empty Gmod server, you know, that kind of like ugh, kind of feeling. And you just don't know where the enemy are, and you might just stumble upon them and die instantly, and then you're back at base and running for another few minutes back into the field. Okay, not a few minutes, but you get what I'm saying. The gather phase just feels kind of inconsequential to the outcome of the match, because the weapon upgrades are marginal, and the resources you just use at the shop to buy other weapons. Maybe if there was more of an emphasis put on this resource gathering with unique items from the shop that could potentially change the balance of the match, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that initial phase actually matters. And while the guns like feel pretty satisfying to use with great animations, the actual gunplay feels just a bit sloppy. Like, it almost feels like there's a little bit of input delay making precise aiming feel floaty, and the outcome of gunfights just feel a bit like chance. Apparently it's just a skill issue, so yeah. Basically, it feels like you can gather resources and fortify walls in your base all you want, but it will not make a difference in your team winning, which then makes 90% of the game's unique gameplay loop pointless. And finally, isn't it just like exhausting to see another live service roadmap? Like, why does everyone need to do this? I don't want to feel like I have to keep coming back to the game constantly or else be missing out on content. And look, like, this is going to sound harsh, but I appreciate that they're doing this and they've got plans to support the game, but like, it's probably not going to be around in a month. So yeah, and it's a shame because while the premise is like pretty original, the rest of it just feels like an amalgamation of like Overwatch and Valorant and Concord with the inventory management system of Warzone and crates taken straight out of Apex. And look, I know I've been roasting them, but I do want to applaud Wildlight Games for trying to do something different with this game. Like, I hope this isn't the end of their studio, because I want to see them take that disruptive thinking that must have been the catalyst for Highguard and apply it to a project from beginning to end. And then I think we could get something really special from them. Now, if you liked the video, I would really appreciate a like. And if you have been around for a bit, you know the story. If you subscribe, you get a little kiss. Hey? Come here.